The Adventure of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Narumon Pansamro. Chapter 22. In the Haunted House. About noon the next day, the boys arrived at the dead tree. They had come for their tour. I say, Tom, do you know that this it? Say Huck steadily. Tom thought, and then said, with a startled look in his eyes, "Good heavens, I never once thought of it. Heck, well, I did it but all at once. I remember that today is Friday. Heck it, one can't be too careful. Heck, we might have got into a fool. Lots of trouble starting such a thing on a Friday. Might Peter say would. There are some lucky days, perhaps, but Friday isn't one of them. So they give up their shirt and play Robin Hood in the afternoon. On Saturday, soon after midday, they were back at the dead tree again. They shouldered their tunes and marched off. When they reached the haunted house, the dead silence of the loneliness of the place were so repellent that they were afraid for a moment to go it. Then they crept inside. They saw a dusty room with an ancient fireplace, broken window, and a ruined statue. They talked in whisper, listening to catch the slightest sound, and ready for an instant retreat. After a time they became blooded and gave the place a critical and interested examination. Next day, once I took after, they threw their tool in a corner and made the ascent. They found the same size of decay. They were about to go down and begin work when Tom whispered, "Shh, was it it?" asked Huck, going out white as a sheet with fright. "Shh, there, hear it." "Yet, oh, let's run. Keep still. Don't move." They're coming right toward the door. The terrified boys seated themselves upon a floor, with their eyes two holes in the board, and lay waiting two men enter. Each boy said to himself, "They're the old deaf and dumb spaniel who's been in the town once or twice lately. I've never seen the other man before." The other, who was talking in a low voice, was a ragged fellow with an unpleasant face. The Spaniard was wrapped in a big, loose overcoat. He has a bushy white beard. Long white hair flowed from under his white hat, and he wore dark spectacle. They sat down on the floor, and the author went on talking. No, I've thought it over and it's too dangerous. Dangerous? Repeated the deaf and laughed. Spanish to the immense surprise and horror of the boys. They gasped and shivered. It was Rescue Joe. Void. Don't be a coward, continued Rescue Joe. Isn't coming here in the daytime dangerous? Anyone who saw us would suspect us. I know that, replied the stranger, but there isn't any other place as suitable. I want to leave this place. I want to yesterday, but it wasn't any use trying. The move out with those across it. Boy playing over there. Those, a cautious voice. Shiver again. The two men got out some food and ate in silence. Look here, says Reskin Joe after a time. Go back to your home after river. Wait there till you hear from me. I risk going into this town just once more for a look round. We do that job which you think is dangerous. After I spy round a little and think everything's favorable, then we set out for Texas together. This same satisfactory boatman soon began yawning and the Joe said, I can hardly keep my eyes open. It's your turn to watch. He curled up on the floor and was soon fast asleep. Presently, the watcher began to nod, and he, too, slept. The boys drew a long, grateful breath. Tom whispered, Now, our chant, come. Tom urged, hugged his back. At last Tom rose softly, but the first step he took produced just a terrible creak from the rotten floor that he sank down almost dead with fright. He did not make a second attempt. As the sun was setting, Reskin Joe sat up, stared around, and then stirred his companion with his foot. You're a fine watchman, aren't you? It's all right, thought nothing happened. Well, it's nearly time to be movie partner, said Reskin Joe. What shall we do with that money we got left? I don't know, said the stranger. Leave it here, as we've always done. It's no use talking it away till we start south. $650 in silver is a lot to carry. Yet, but it may be a long time before I get the right chance for that job. Accident may happen, as it isn't in a very safe place. We bury it properly. Good idea, said Rescue Joe, companion, who walked across the room. Raise one of the big flat stones in the fireplace and life out a bag he took from it. $20 or $30 for himself and the same amount for the skin Joe, and then passed it to the latter who was on his knees in the corner now, digging with his knife. The boy forgot all their fears, all their miseries in an instant. With wide eyes, they watched every movement. Look! This was better than anything they could have imagined. Here was the best kind of treasure hunting, without any troublesome uncertainty as to where to dig. "Hello!" he exclaimed. "What is it?" asked his companion. "It's a box, I believe. Her helped me and we'll see what it's her for. Never mind, I made a hole in it." He put his hand in and drew it out. "It's money!" The two men examined the handful of cord. They were gold. The boys above were as excited as the man and as delighted. "There's an old ratty pig in a corner," says the stranger. "I saw it a minute ago." They ran and brought the boys pig and speck. Redskin Joe took the pig, looked it over critically, shook his head, muttered something to himself, and then began to use it. The box was soon unearthed. "Partner, there are thousands of dollars here," said Redskin Joe. "I've often heard that Murray's gang was around here once summer," remarked the stranger. "This is probably their money." "Well, no, you won't need to do that job." The half-breed frowned. A wicked light shone in his eyes. "You don't know me. It isn't robbery altogether. It's revenge, and I need your help in it. All right, what shall we do with it? Bury it again?" "Yes," the boys above were delighted. "No, no!" This disappointment above. "I'd nearly forgotten. That pig had French earth on it." The boys were sick with terror in a moment. "Why are a pig and a speck here? Who brought them? Have you here anybody? Seen anybody? What? Shall we bury it again and leave them to come and see the ground? This trap? Never. We take it to my place." "Why, of course." "You mean number one?" "No, number two. Under the crotch," replied Redskin Joe. Number one is not safe enough." "All right, it's nearly dark enough to start." The half-breed got up and went about from window to window, cautiously peeping out. Who could have brought those to her? He asked pleasantly. Do you think they can be after? The boy splashed dress coat. Redskin Joe put his hand on his knife, stood for a moment, undecided, and then turned toward the stretch cache. His step came creaking up the stair. Both the boys were shivering as if with a dashed fever. Crash! Redskin Joe landed on the floor amid the rotter was of the fallen stray cat. He picked himself up, cursing, and his companion said, "Now, what's the use of that? If anybody up there, let them stay there. Who cares? It's my opinion whoever left those two here. Catch sight of you the thoughts we were deafened or ghosts. I bet they're running yet." Redskin Joe muttered for some time. Soon afterward they slipped out of the house in the deepening twilight and moved toward the river with their precious book. Tom and Huck got up, weak but immediately relieved. They had not the slightest desire to follow Redskin Joe and the stretcher. They were content to reach the ground without broken neck. They did not talk much on the way home. They were too busy hating themselves and the bad luck that made them take the Tuesday. But for that, Redskin Joe would never have suspected and would have left the silvers and the gold. They determined to keep a lookout for a Spaniard when he came to town, spying out fortune to do his revengeful job and to follow him to number 2, wherever that might be.